My wife looked up from her phone and said, "Mom and Dad are coming this weekend. I need you to stay somewhere else. You don't belong in the family pictures." I just said, "Okay." Then I called the leasing office, terminated the lease that was solely in my name, and left the surrender paperwork on the counter for her. She blew up my phone sobbing the moment the power died while her parents were standing in the living room. Original post, I'm 34M. For the last 5 years I've been the unseen infrastructure holding my wife Courtney's, 31F, life together. I run supply chain for a major pharma distributor. My entire job is making sure critical shipments arrive exactly when they're supposed to without anyone ever noticing the controlled chaos behind the curtain. Turns out that was perfect preparation for being married to Courtney. Her family treats appearances like a religion. Richard and Eleanor keep white couches actually white. They look at me, a kid who grew up in a South Philly row house, went to a state school, and still changes his own oil, like I'm a grease stain on their marble countertop. We live in a high-rise downtown luxury building, floor-to-ceiling windows, 24-hour concierge, the whole influencer dream. 3 years ago when we moved in, Courtney's credit was destroyed after her curated lifestyle subscription box imploded. Richard refused to co-sign, gave me a 20-minute lecture over Macallan I paid for about how adversity builds character, and he wasn't bailing her out anymore. So the lease is in my name only. Utilities, renter's insurance, everything. Courtney covers her own shopping and the lease on the Audi that Richard magically did co-sign for, but the roof, the power, the Wi-Fi? That's all me. This all went down last week. I dragged in after a brutal 12-hour day untangling a refrigerated truck meltdown across 3 states. Dropped my keys, saw Courtney fussing with hydrangeas in the foyer. "Mom and Dad are coming," she said without looking up. "I know," I answered. I already bought Eleanor's favorite gin and booked the steakhouse Richard pretends is acceptable. She finally met my eyes. No gratitude, just cold appraisal, like she was deciding whether I clashed with the throw pillows. "Actually," she said, wiping her hands on a linen towel that cost more than my first car, "we need to talk logistics. It would be better if you stayed at a hotel this weekend." I blinked, brain still stuck in freight manifests. "Come again?" "The Marriott's nice. Or the Kimpton. Just 3 nights. I asked the obvious question, why am I getting kicked out of my own apartment? "Because we're doing the official family Christmas card portraits," she said, waving toward the blank wall where the Dynasty Gallery is supposed to go. "Mom wants to recreate the shots from when Morgan and I were little. Just the 4 of us. You don't fit the frame. You and Dad occupy different planets. We want a pure, nostalgic weekend, and honestly, Jason, you're kind of rustic. It throws off the vibe." "Rustic," I repeated. "The rustic husband who pays the rent that funds the vibe and the electric bill that powers the ring lights for the vibe is too rustic to appear in the vibe. Don't make it about money, that's vulgar," she snapped. "It's 3 days. Treat it like a staycation. Order room service, watch football, whatever. Just give us the space." "So let me get this straight," I said, voice flat. "You want me to disappear from the home I pay for so you can pretend I don't exist for a photo shoot? You're not disappearing, you're just pausing. You're still my husband, except for this one weekend." I looked at her, at the apartment I'd killed myself overtime to afford, at the woman I'd carried through 3 failed businesses and countless soft launches. The anger didn't crash over me. It settled in like permafrost. "Understood," I said. She smiled like she'd won. "Thank you. I knew you'd be reasonable. Oh, can you make sure the guest bath is fully stocked before you leave? Mom freaks out if we run low on towels." I didn't pack a weekend bag. I packed my entire life. Next morning while she was at Pilates, I called Dave, the property manager who likes me because I pay early and never complain about the rooftop parties. Told him I was exercising the early termination clause, personal emergency, I'd pay the 2-month penalty. $6,000. I didn't even feel it. Hired a same-day moving crew, logistics is my superpower, remember? And by the time Courtney came home gushing to Morgan about swatches, half the apartment was empty and she didn't notice. The place looked intentionally minimalist instead of lived in. Day of the big visit, I was up before her. Left the keys and a fat manila envelope on the island. Inside, receipt for the lease break fee and the official notice that the unit was surrendered as of 8 a.m. I'd already gone online and scheduled every utility to end at 10:30 a.m., smart meters, no truck roll needed. On top I left a note. Since I don't match the aesthetic, I've removed myself from it completely. Lease terminated, utilities cancelled, apartment legally vacant. Enjoy the natural light for your photos. The rustic husband. I walked out, checked into a different hotel across town, turned off location sharing, ordered coffee, and waited. The show started right on schedule. Phone exploded around noon. I let it stack, 18 missed calls from Courtney, 5 from Richard, 3 from Eleanor, a dozen texts that went from confused to hysterical. I ate a cheeseburger, very rustic, while reading the meltdown in real time. Where's the Nespresso machine? Wi-Fi's down, I can't play the mood playlist. AC just died, it's 80 degrees in here. Found your note. This isn't funny, Jason. Fix it now. Dave is here saying we're trespassing? I finally picked up on the 19th call. Jason. Her voice was already cracking. Dave is telling my father we have to leave. Hi, Courtney. How's the reunion going? Turn the power on. Why did you cancel the lease? You told me I didn't belong in the picture. You were right, I don't belong in any of it. Since everything is in my name only, I solved the problem permanently. I meant for the weekend. You can't have it both ways. You can't use me as a silent ATM and then banish me when the curtain goes up. I paid the penalty. I'm gone. That unit belongs to the management company now. But where are we supposed to go? The photographer is coming in an hour. I hear the Marriott's nice. Richard got on the line screaming about lawsuits. I handed the phone to Dave, who calmly explained tenant law to a man who was quickly learning he wasn't bulletproof. Dave ended up calling PD when they refused to leave a dark, uninsured unit. Neighbor Mike sent me a video an hour later, the entire Hawthorne clan on the sidewalk in 90-degree heat, Courtney crying on a pile of Louis Vuitton, Eleanor fanning herself with a Hermes clutch, Richard purple and yelling at a cop who clearly didn't care, and the photographer packing up his seamless paper because the light was ruined. That night Richard emailed me demanding I reimburse them $5,800 for 2 Four Seasons suites plus the photographer's kill fee. I wrote back quoting his own words about character-building consequences and told him never to contact me again. I slept like a dead man. Update 1 week later, I'm in a short-term loft, exposed brick, concrete floors, everything they'd call rustic. I love it. Courtney realized within 24 hours that without my income and the apartment she was effectively homeless. Her brand consulting job pays in free serums and exposure. The begging, guilt trips, and rage texts were Olympic level. Then Richard tried to get me fired with an anonymous ethics complaint about embezzlement. My boss laughed, showed me the email that came from Hawthorne at whatever, and gave me a promotion for keeping better records than the auditors. Courtney tried to drain the joint account. I'd already pulled my money the day I left. She had $400 left. Transfer declined. Morgan posted a tearful TikTok about her abusive brother-in-law who abandoned her sister on the street. My lawyer, Ms. Vance, sent cease and desist letters so beautifully vicious the video was gone in 43 minutes. Then they broke into my storage unit and stole my furniture to furnish their Airbnb. I called the cops with receipts showing every item was purchased pre-marriage. Watched them load my own chairs back onto a truck while Courtney screamed that I was petty. Told her IKEA delivers. Divorce was finalized last week. Judge denied alimony after Ms. Vance handed over the texts where Courtney literally asked me to leave my own home for aesthetics. Judge asked Courtney if she expected the bills to keep getting paid after banishing the payer. Courtney had no answer. Richard's finances turned out to be mostly facade. He's underwater on the summer home and can't float Courtney anymore. She's 31, living in her childhood bedroom in Connecticut, working retail. The Christmas card did go out, taken in the Airbnb before they got kicked out for fighting about the bill there too. It's technically perfect, but there's a giant pampas grass arrangement where a husband should be. Comments disabled. I bought the loft. Got the promotion. Went on a date with an architect named Elena who walked in, looked at the brick and the books and my beat-up leather chair, and said, "This place feels real." I laughed and told her I'd been called rustic. She smiled and said, "Good. Real things can handle a few scuffs." Last time I saw Courtney, she was walking into the courthouse to sign the papers. Hair roots grown out, coat hanging open, eyes hollow. She stopped me on the steps. Was it worth it? Blowing everything up over one weekend? I looked at her and felt nothing at all. I didn't blow anything up, Courtney. I just stopped holding it together for you. She whispered, "We're still family." "No," I said, walking past her into the sunlight. "You have your family. I have my life." And for the first time in years, the light felt like it was mine.